Howdy.
Hello. Well, today is the 30th of November, and I'm gonna film this and try to edit it tonight so you guys can see it on the last day of Vlogsgiving. I have done, this will be my fourth version of this video, my fourth installment in this series, and it is holiday cocktails.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, mine too. There's something really fun for me about like a seasonal beverage.
Something special.
A seasonal beer, seasonal like cocktail at a bar. I love a seasonal menu, something festive. And it doesn't have to be like just Christmas. I like it around 4th of July too, or when it's themed. I love a theme.
Halloween theme.
Yeah, themed around, you know, the holiday that's gonna happen, you know, whatever. So we're gonna be using recipes out of a brand new cocktail recipe book that I picked up at Aldi. This is The Art of Mixology, Making Spirits Bright. There's more than 75 cocktail recipes in here, and I've tried a bunch of them already. We bought this, what, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
And I've tried a few of them already, and I haven't had a dud yet. So I have 4 picked out, and we're gonna kind of customize them a little bit. So the first one we're gonna start with is, and I've marked them, an apple cinnamon old fashioned, except we don't have apple butter, but today we picked up pumpkin butter, so we're gonna make a pumpkin old fashioned instead.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Our second cocktail is a cranberry cocktail, and it is called a blizzard, or the blizzard. So it has bourbon and cranberry juice. And then we're gonna go to an eggnog white Russian, which I think sounds fun. And then we're gonna finish it up with a Christmas coffee cocktail.
And some of these you could vary the liquor or the liqueur a little bit.
Yep.
But I think it's good to start with the original recipe before you deviate too much.
Try making it the way that they tell you to first.
Yeah.
And then see what you think it needs. Is it too sweet? Maybe cut back the simple syrup, or
It's too boozy.
if it's too boozy, add some juice or some coffee, dilute it a little bit with more ice.
Yeah. So if it's not an alcohol that you like, you can certainly substitute for a non-alcohol substitute, because there's a lot of zero alcohols out there now.
Let's say you don't like bourbon.
Yeah.
You can sub that for rum, for tequila, for vodka. If you don't like tequila, you can make a margarita with vodka.
Right.
It's not the same, but it's not going to be the same. But who cares if it's not the same if you don't like it in the first place?
It might be one you like better.
Yeah, we're making some baked potatoes in the oven. So if you're wondering who's singing, that's our oven.
Our oven is telling us.
Yeah, so let's make the first one. So for our pumpkin butter old fashioned, we're gonna start with our pumpkin butter. The recipe calls for apple butter. We're gonna use the pumpkin butter because that's what we have.
Oh, and it looks delicious.
It does look really tasty. I'm actually gonna.
That is good.
It is really good. Okay.
That was worth 99 cents.
So it calls for a tablespoon. So I'm gonna put just 1 tablespoon into the cocktail shaker. I did put some ice in the cocktail shaker. The recipe doesn't specify, but I think most recipes you shake with ice, and the ice helps combine all the ingredients and helps dilute everything too. Next we need 2 ounces of bourbon. I'm gonna use Buffalo Trace bourbon. I don't think, and this is gonna probably offend somebody, I don't think you have to use bourbon. I think you can use whiskey. We're gonna use bourbon because it's what they tell us to use. I think sometimes where you get into trouble is when you start using like flavors. We have a blackberry whiskey, and it's really good on its own, but I think that would be weird in this. I think we have a maple Crown Royal back here, and I think this could be good in it, but
It might be really sweet.
right, and I want to try it with the bourbon first to see, you know, how it tastes. So I have my little measuring cup, and I need 2 ounces. Rinse off that spoon. Then we need 6 dashes of bitters, and I'm going to use these Peychaud's aromatic cocktail bitters. we've got the bitters, the bourbon, the butter in with some ice, and we're gonna shake. So we have a really special ice cube sphere we're gonna use today because it's been in the freezer for a long time. Mom got the new mold with her birthday present, which was a whiskey advent calendar.
Yeah.
And so that came with that, and so we filled it, and it's been in the freezer ever since.
Waiting patiently.
So I shook that really hard with the ice, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour that over the ice cube. If you don't want to dilute your drink, you can use one of the like whiskey ice cubes, which is like a metal ice cube. If you keep it in your freezer, and it keeps your drink cold, but it doesn't dilute your drink. Then the recipe tells us to top it with club soda. Now I want to know, Mom, I think we should try it first.
I do too.
And see what we think, because I don't know if it's going to need
Club soda?
the carbonation.
Yeah. Because it's typically an old fashioned is a sipping drink. That's yummy.
It definitely tastes like an old fashioned. With a little extra oomph from the pumpkin butter. I like it.
I do too.
Because there's no sugar in it.
Yeah.
Just the pumpkin butter. So I think we skip the club soda.
I'm fine.
Because I don't think it needs that.
I think it's just a nice sipping drink. And that's why I think using a better bourbon or nicer quality whiskey is what you're gonna want in an old fashioned.
This is the funniest thing. Our cinnamon sticks came with one of those little
Sprinklers.
sprinkle duster things. So I'm gonna garnish with an apple slice because I'm not sticking raw pumpkin into my cocktail.
I'm not sure how to help you with that.
Mind your own business.
You don't need to. And a cinnamon stick. And then that is our pumpkin butter old fashioned. Next cocktail, I want to make our Blizzard. This is another bourbon cocktail. So we're going to use, we could use the Buffalo Trace again. I've made this with this Starward Australian whiskey. And this one's actually really pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and use this for this one.
Sure.
Can I have the cocktail shaker, please?
You sure can.
So for this one, I made simple syrup, which is just a solution of sugar and water. And I did 1 part sugar, 1 part water. I actually did 2 cups of each. And you don't have to boil it. You just bring it to like almost a simmer, hot on the stove, until the sugar completely dissolves. And then you let it cool, and it will keep in the refrigerator. So I've just got mine in this nice little bottle here. And then we also have lemon juice. Fresh is best, but I think it's hard to keep a bunch of citrus in your house. And I think freezing it in little ice cubes, which is what we do, is really convenient because you can do a whole big batch at once. You keep it in the freezer and you pull it out when you need it. So I'm gonna do that. So we are gonna start with ice in our cocktail shaker. Good point. So instead of putting the ice in the cocktail shaker, we're gonna put it in the cup we're gonna make the drink in, because the ice cube will melt when we pour the bourbon and everything else in, because it's cold and everything else is room temperature. So we're gonna do 2 1/4 ounces of bourbon. And if you don't have one of these little handy dandy measuring glasses with the little tablespoons, teaspoons, ounces, and mils, you can use like a jigger pony. Thank you. And this one is 1 1/2 ounces on the big side, and then the small side is 3/4 of an ounce. So 1 1/2 plus 3/4 is 2 1/4. So you can do that. Or this one's really handy because it has like, you can do the top half, which is 1 1/2 ounces, and then on the inside, bless you, it's marked for 3/4 of an ounce. So I'm not going to use that, I'll use this. But 2 1/4 ounces. And I think it's funny how some of these measurements feel kind of arbitrary, and it's like, does that really make a difference? And it does make a difference in the final flavor of the cocktail.
Yeah.
I think. Next is our cranberry juice. The recipe calls for unsweetened cranberry juice. I think that's really hard to find, the unsweetened cranberry juice. I'm using a little bottle because this is what we have in the house. But if you can't find unsweetened cranberry juice, just, use what you're gonna drink, because you're probably not gonna make enough cocktails to use up a whole big jug of juice.
Yeah.
So buy what you're gonna drink and then take your simple syrup down a notch when you
get
add
less.
that. Yeah. So we need 1.5 ounces of cranberry juice. And since my cranberry juice is not unsweetened, the recipe calls for 1 ounce of simple syrup. I'm only gonna use 1/2 ounce. And for lemon juice, it calls for 1/2 ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice. And then we put the lid on.
That's me. Sleep at the wheel.
And we shake. And then I'm just gonna pour this right on top of the ice I've got in that cup.
Perfect.
Goes right to the top. And I'm gonna garnish with some rosemary. Now I typically skip the garnishes. I'm making them pretty for you guys because I don't usually like to fish a bunch of stuff out of my cocktail, my cup. But the rosemary is very aromatic, and when you sip that, you'll be able to smell it, and it does add something to the cocktail. It smells like Christmas.
That's good.
I like it too.
That's good. Another sipper.
Yep. There's actually a cocktail in here that I think is really very similar to the Blizzard, but basically you just add either ginger ale or club soda and you can dilute it. I'm not gonna fish for it now, but yeah, I mean, that's a great tip if you don't like sipping cocktails, you can't hold your liquor very well, you know, just cut the alcohol in half, make yourself a small drink, and add club soda or ginger ale or like citrus soda.
Instead of serving it in a highball glass, you could serve it in a Collins glass,
Yeah,
a taller tumbler.
Yeah, that's a good tip. So our camera battery died. So next we're gonna make the eggnog white Russian. And I'm really excited about this one because I like white Russians.
And like eggnog.
I really like eggnog, and I think marrying the two of them is gonna be really fun. So the recipe that we have makes 2. I've been thinking about it. I think this would be a really good one for a batch cocktail.
Oh.
And you can keep it in your refrigerator or keep it like on ice. I don't know if there's going to be enough liquor in here to keep it from freezing, so I don't know that I'd put it in the freezer.
But you could certainly keep it in the refrigerator or in a carafe.
Yeah, and just make it ahead of time. Like, let's say you're going to have a dinner party and you want everybody to have a nice little drink after dinner
Yeah.
with dessert or for dessert. Because I think this one's going to be kind of a dessert type drink. And this one is also not a shaken cocktail. So we're going to stir this one with ice. We're going to start with 3.5 ounces of vodka. If I'd made this one before and I knew what it needed, I might
Modify it.
the vodka. I might use like a whipped cream vodka or a vanilla vodka. I've got a cold brew coffee vodka here that I think might be good. But since I've not made this one, I don't know what it needs. So we're going to use plain vodka. And this bottle is anything but plain, but Mom really likes the Crystal Skull or Crystal Head vodka, and I think the bottles are cool. So this is something we collect.
A Dan Aykroyd product.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, 3.5 ounces of vodka into a cocktail shaker with ice. You can use a mixing glass. I'm using the cocktail shaker. 3.5 ounces of coffee liqueur. That would be Kahlua, and we make our own. So we're using this. I say we, Mom makes it. I watch, and I enjoy it when she's done.
I enjoy it when I'm done also.
It's my favorite Kahlua. And then we need 3 ounces of eggnog. And I'm gonna use this Promised Land Dairy Old Fashioned eggnog because it's what we have and because it's what's open in the house. This is not my favorite eggnog. There's no alcohol in the eggnog, by the way. This is
They do have
eggnog.
flavored eggnogs with alcohol in them, but this one is just a regular grocery store eggnog.
This one's in the dairy section in the grocery store. All right, so this is gonna go right in here with those, and we stir until it's nice and chilled. And you'll be able to tell by the way the mixing glass looks if it's frosty.
50 stirs is what they usually say.
I've not been counting. Have you been counting? You think it's good? Mm-hmm. All right. So then we're gonna pour this into 2 glasses. I don't need that. I need, whoop.
Nicely done.
Thank you. And then it says to sprinkle nutmeg, ground nutmeg, and sea salt on top.
I don't know about the sea salt.
I don't either. I'm gonna do 1 with the sea salt because I'm curious. But we're doing nutmeg on both because the eggnog that I chose to use does not have much nutmeg in it. I'm gonna move the other one out of the way before I do the sea salt because this just seems weird to me, but I'm gonna try it because that's what the recipe says to do. I suppose we will see.
This is the one without? I'm gonna try the one without first. Ooh, creamy. That's good. I don't notice the salt. Maybe you drank it all.
I got 1 little kiss of the salt and it was fine with the salt.
Try it without. That's a really good after dinner drink.
It really is a nice after dinner drink. Mm-hmm. Very festive. I really love the nutmeg. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't want to do this without the nutmeg, especially if your eggnog is not very nutmeggy. Last one is the Christmas coffee cocktail, and that is what it's called. And it is Irish cream liqueur, almond liqueur, coffee liqueur, and cream.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a sipper for sure. So it is 3/4 of an ounce of Irish cream liqueur. And since I'm doing what we have available in the house, I'm using the vanilla cinnamon Baileys.
Very
I think
nice.
there's not really a flavor profile in this, it's just coffee and almond. So 3/4 of an ounce of this. And actually it's 3/4 of an ounce of everything. So 3/4 of an ounce of the Irish cream.
So 1 to 1 to 1
to 1.
to 1.
Yep. And then we are revisiting our Kahlua, 3/4 of an ounce of Kahlua, 3/4 of an ounce of amaretto or almond liqueur. And again, we make this one, Mom makes this one, and I just get to enjoy the fruits of her labor.
Now, it may not seem like it, but this is going to be a really sweet drink because the amaretto is sweet, the Kahlua is sweet, and the Baileys is sweet. So this will be a sipper.
All right, we're gonna shake this with lots of ice. And then we're supposed to strain into a glass with ice cubes, and that will help dilute it even further.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think it's pretty. It's really sweet.
Yep. I can really get the amaretto in that. That's very nice.
Yeah. And again, if you don't like as much alcohol in your drink, if you don't like sipping cocktails, you could dilute this with coffee.
Yeah.
This would be really good, like with a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do the whole thing, you know, but then you're not making the cocktail.
Right.
I like this one. I don't know if I have a favorite. It might be the old fashioned.
The first old fashioned. I think these are all winners. I really do.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we've made any of these. And we followed the recipe, and I think the recipes were good.
Yeah, this is a really great book. So if you struggle with, you know, like what kind of drink am I going to make for a dinner party for myself? I want to, you know,
Have something special.
yeah. This is a really good book. I think it was what, $9, $6.
Yeah.
We got it at Aldi in their Aldi finds aisle. We call it the junk aisle, but it's like a treasure hunt every time we go. I'm not sponsored by Aldi. I know it sounds like I am every time I talk about Aldi because it's my favorite store. If I was sponsored by Aldi, I would love that. But I really truly do enjoy this book and the store itself.
Yeah.
So if you have an Aldi near you, and I know not everybody is fortunate enough to have one.
Or is it Trader Joe's? Trader Sam's? What's the other one? Aldi has a cousin.
Do they?
Cousin store, yeah, or sister store. Yeah. So if you guys know the sister store to Aldi, drop it in a comment below.
Fascinating. I didn't know that. Anyway, if you have an Aldi near you and you're looking for something like this, we found it very recently, so I would think they might still have one. And if you want a breakdown of the recipes that we shared in this video, they will be in the description box. Cheers!
Cheers, and have a festive holiday season that's safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I know it's probably gonna offend somebody. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
Season's greetings to all of you, and thank you for hanging out with me through Vlogsgiving.
Yeah, we appreciate your kind support.
I've had a lot of fun with this year. I was really discouraged toward the beginning.
Yeah, she was. But you know, life happens. And you've got a full-time job?
Well, okay. I know the full-time job thing, but that's not the reason that everything went to pot this month. It was everything else on top of the full-time job that has wreaked havoc.
My life, Emma's life, the car wreck.
We've just got so much going on, and it just felt like, at the time, nothing is going the way I want it to go.
Yeah.
Everything's fine, you know, but we made it through. I
You
made
feel
it through.
like Glenda, it's not going your way?
I need to lay down. Yeah. I didn't get my way. I need to lay down. No, yeah, I did definitely feel like that at one point during this month. But you guys have been so kind to me and encouraging, and I'm immensely grateful. Now I'm going to clean up the kitchen, and we're going to divvy up these drinks between the rest of us. And I may or may not have a video on Sunday and or Monday. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But you guys will see me again sometime, maybe soon. Bye.
Bye, y'all.